whole life, I always knew I was special. Even with no remainders, I could always move a decimal. Money on my mind while the girls that made un beso. Hustlers in my blood and it's running through my vessels. Just trying to clear the threshold, just trying to make a way. In my race against time, I could see an early grave. School to prison pipeline, 12 years a slave. Suspension and detention is conditioned for a cage.
You are now tuned into the Boxing Bros. I'm Caden, and I want to wish all the lovers out there happy Valentine's Day. And for the side pieces, happy February 15th. I'm going to turn it over to my bros.
What's going on, everybody? It's Dr. Love. You call me Dr. Trill Dollar Bill. What's going on?
And to all my single ladies out here, you know what I mean? This is the original G-Dress.
And to all my wonderful...
Nah, don't be stealing my name, son. Change my name.
Nah.
Relax.
I want to wish all my wonderful boxing...
Boxing.
Our boxing ladies. A smooth Valentine's Day from... I want to wish a smooth Valentine's Day from Nedris. All right, y'all bless.
Yo, my man fumbled early.
Fumbled bad. Oh man.
All right, let's jump into it.
Oh my God.
All right. So the first topic we're gonna discuss on Boxing Bros was Daniel Jacobs robbed? He fought John Ryder in the UK in London. And basically lost a split decision. And so I'm gonna turn it over to Conspira G. Actually, the original G-Dress. You watched the fight. How'd you score the fight? And do you think Daniel Jacobs was robbed?
All right. So do I think he was robbed? Hell no. And here's why. Even in the rounds where he won, they were still close. So to me, you went overseas to this dude's backyard. You already know he's going to be the favorite, even though you technically are the A side. You know you're going in his backyard, so you got to outperform homie. He didn't do enough. I'm being honest, this is what I think Dan Jacobs did. He was like, oh, word, I got to go to the UK real quick. Oh, free money? Okay, I got you. I don't even think he really trained for this fight, because looking at this performance versus his performance against Triple G and Canelo, I didn't see the urgency. Even they were praising his jab from back in the day. This time it was just he's just throwing it out. It seemed like he wasn't really focused on the win, you know. And so, what round was it? Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think it was the second round. You know what I mean? Yeah, he landed more technically, but I remember that what's the guy's name?
John Ryder.
John Ryder, landed a pretty decent hook. So it's just okay. He landed the power shot while you landed these flimsy jabs. Who am I gonna give it to? I gave it to Ryder, you know. And so these rounds were so close that I was just man, this ain't the Daniel Jacobs that I know. This ain't the Brownsville Jacobs. This is more the man. I've been chilling the comfortable sheets, silk sheets, Egyptian cotton. I'm just gonna go here to pick up this check. So I didn't think he got robbed at all, to be honest.
How'd you score it?
I actually didn't score it, but I watched the fight. I just didn't score it because I thought he was going to body do. I honestly thought he was going to knock him out. So, when I think there's going to be a knockout, I go, man, he ain't going to play with his food, so I don't even bother.
I feel you.
Yeah, but this one, I was shocked. I was like, damn, Jacobs, man, what's going on with you, bro? So, but based upon what I've seen, he wasn't robbed at all, man. Because I could see it going either way. I could see it being a draw, but I feel like even if it was a draw or a loss, it's still a loss for Daniel Jacobs because he shouldn't lose to a guy of this caliber. You know what I mean? And I kind of felt like he wasn't trying. I don't know if it was jet lag. I don't know what it was, but this ain't the Daniel Jacobs of the past, man. This new Daniel Jacobs, it seemed like maybe he's on his way out. That's just my honest opinion.
All right, Dr. Trill Dollar Bill.
Was Daniel Jacobs robbed? Daniel Jacobs won the fight. I watched the fight, and I thought that he won the fight. Was he robbed? I wouldn't say robbed. I think it was a tough fight. but I definitely score a good 7 rounds, maybe even 8 for Daniel Jacobs. You know what I'm saying? But I know what I think it was. The being inactive, he made it more tougher than what it had to be because of the layoff. Um, nah, he still deserved to get the nod. I'm sorry. I get it, you go over it, but he was still the A side. That's still Daniel Jacobs. He still deserved to get the nod. I can't stand when we do this when a UK fighter comes over here or when we go over there, it gotta be some crap. No, just score the fight how the right way. Daniel Jacobs clearly won them first 6 rounds. You know what I'm saying? It was like a boxing lesson. Yeah, it was Ryder is throwing some shots in there, and then it seemed like the inactivity maybe gassed Daniel Jacobs a little bit. But he pulled it out, and he pulled out that last round to secure the win. This is, to me, this is like a case of boxing where we've seen this before. I'm not even gonna lie. It's like when you want to get a guy out of there. Like you want to, when the guy's done with their career, you just want to get him out of there. You know what I'm saying? So the boxing community, the boxing world will start doing weird stuff. But Daniel Jacobs didn't deserve to lose that fight last night. I really don't believe that in my heart of hearts. Shout out to Ryder. You know what I'm saying? Like he fought. He never gave up on himself. But he didn't win that fight. I think that they need to do that again. Don't do Daniel Jacobs like this. Don't let him. I know, like,
well,
IG, get in there.
His corner, I think it was like the 8th or the 9th round. They told Daniel Jacobs that he was down in the fight.
Nah, that's part of that. Listen, I don't heard corners say weird stuff to fighters. You know what I'm saying, to keep them going. I know that at that time he was losing that round. They probably told him he lost that round because he did lose the 7th and the 8th in the 9th. You know what I'm saying? That's the rounds that he was losing. You know what I'm saying? But he clearly won that first 6. You know what I'm saying? The 7th, 8th, and 9th, and then maybe he came on. It was another round I gave him, and then I definitely gave him the last round. You know what I'm saying? So it was like 7 to 8 rounds that I gave Daniel Jacobs. Ryder is tough. He was in there, but he didn't win that fight. I don't think Daniel Jacobs deserved to go out like that. And we done seen it before when, they wanted to give. I done seen it happen when they done with a fighter. They want to get dumped. They want to get rid of a fighter. So you start doing these bad decisions and stuff, and then a fighter gets fed up and doesn't want to fight anymore. We done seen that before. I remember last time I seen that was with Chad Dawson. You know what I'm saying? He was like, but no, Daniel Jacobs did not win that fight last night. It was a tough fight.
You mean John Ryder?
I mean, yeah, John Ryder didn't win that fight, even though it was a tough fight for Daniel Jacobs. I thought Daniel Jacobs pulled it off. Was it a robbery? Was it a robbery?
I mean, if you gave him 8 rounds, sound like a robbery to me. You know what I'm saying?
Was it a robbery or was it a bad decision? You know what I'm saying? Because there is a difference. And like G, like how you put it, you know what I'm saying? You seen the fight differently too. You seen tough rounds that you gave to the other guy because in your head, consciously, you thought that Daniel Jacobs should be mopping this dude. You know what I'm saying? So maybe other guys seen it in that way too. They never seen Daniel Jacobs hurt, or I don't know what it is. And maybe they got persuaded by the crowd, because even when Ryder would miss his shot, the crowd would go crazy just because he was coming forward. You know what I'm saying? So maybe the judges were swayed a little bit by the crowd. You know what I'm saying? I just think they got it wrong last night. You know what I mean? This is not the first time this happened, but I just think that they need to run that back, because if anybody deserves a shot at Canelo, if he's going to take a tune-up with any one of these guys, it's definitely Daniel Jacobs. You know what I'm saying? Let him go out that way. Let him end his career like that, not with Ryder. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's making excuses for this decision. They didn't even really congratulate the young man Ryder. They just made excuses like, he's been on the bad end of other calls before, so it's good that he got one to go his favor. Not that he went out there and beat Daniel Jacobs, you know what I'm saying? Former champion at middleweight, you know what I'm saying? Not that. Oh, he's just been, it's good that he gets a decision to go his way. You know what I'm saying? But I don't mean to beat a dead horse. Y'all know how I feel. I think Daniel Jacobs won the fight.
All right. So Trill scored it for Danny Jacobs. Says it was a bad decision. Ned the TVE, did you watch the fight?
Now, I actually didn't get to see the fight, but I want to say this. Earlier in the show, we said that special Valentine's, and I truly forgot you, my baby. Clarissa, even though we are far apart, we're still together in the heart, yo. Happy Valentine's Day. I love you.
Kind of cute, man. That sounded cute. You know, it's better than saying Happy Valentine's Day to boxing guys.
Yeah, Clarissa, don't forget he mistaked you for another woman. So just remember that, Clarissa. You can't be that special.
The age.
Yo, my boo wearing Dubois shorts, yo. What's going
on? Yeah, to dive into this fight though. So at first I was pulling a G, and what I mean by that is I wasn't even scoring the fight because I thought that Daniel Jacobs was just going to wash this dude. It was going to be like, you know, a 10-2 decision, and it was looking that way. The first 6 rounds, I thought Danny Jacobs took him. So I'm watching him in my mind. When I don't score a fight at the end of the round, I at least say to myself who I gave the round to. So I'm like, it's, you know, 2-3 or, you know, 3-4 or whatever. So I'm like, dang, 5-0 Jacobs at the end of round 5. But then in round 6, Ryder hurt Danny Jacobs at the end of the round, but Jacobs had done enough to take that round. And so I gave it to Jacobs. And so I'm like, okay, it's 6-0. But because Ryder hurt him, that's when I pulled out my phone and said, okay, it might get interesting now. Let me see. From that point on, I gave Ryder 7, 8, 9, and 10. But then I gave Jacobs 11 and 12. So it's 8-4. And so I understand how people can be enthusiastic about Ryder's performance because he went from being dominated and outclassed to actually taking 4 rounds in between. But then Danny Jacobs got it under control. And if you listen to the commentary, you know, Ryder is the hometown guy, so they're very excited about Ryder's work. But there were several times they're highlighting Ryder's work and overlooking the fact that Jacobs just landed like a mean right hand. Jacobs just landed a mean left hook to the body. And so I'm just thinking that's going to do a lot of swaying the casual viewers who are watching the zone who don't actually understand how to score with landing punches and things of that nature when you're overlooking Danny Jacobs' work. So I scored it 8-4. I thought Danny Jacobs won the fight. I thought he won it decisively. So to me, it's not like one of those things where I'm like, oh, it was close. I thought in the middle rounds, it became questionable as to whether or not Danny Jacobs would be able to regain control of the fight. But I'm being honest, like, you can't lose if you won the first 6 rounds. You got to get dropped. Like, watch it. The dude won the first 6 rounds. Even if you don't think he won the first 6 rounds, fine. You can't tell me, look at the 11th round, look at the 12th round. Like, Ryder didn't land, he didn't do much. You know, he mucked the fight up. He made it ugly, but Danny Jacobs was landing the cleaner punches. And so, like, I thought Daniel Jacobs won. But here's what I would say. It doesn't even matter. Because even if they scored it 8-4, Daniel Jacobs never should have been in a fight like that with John Ryder. And I think that's the problem. And Danny Jacobs, his attack was so predictable. 1-1-2. That's all he kept throwing. 1-1, try to shock him with the 2. And I'm like, bro, he knows what you're trying to do. You got to switch it up. Danny Jacobs, I don't recall it, but I'm going to give it the benefit of doubt that I can't remember every frame of the fight. So it's possible that this happened, but it didn't happen enough. I didn't see Danny Jacobs jab to the body like at all. I didn't see him jab to the body. Like, his attack was strictly, he was headhutting a lot. He threw to the body, you know, few and far in between. And I'm just watching Danny Jacobs, and I'm like, what are you doing? I thought his attack was very predictable, and I think that played a role in the fight. So, you know, with that being said, I thought he won the fight decisively, 8-4. You start to get on robbery territory with that. But the only reason why I wouldn't call this fight a robbery is because of what G said. It wasn't like there was much activity in this fight. It was more like, you know, there were lulls in the fight, and then they would pick it up. And so it's more like who did the best work when they decided to fight. It wasn't like a fight in which somebody was really taking rounds like that. It was more like you had to look at it and say, okay, this was a dull round, but out of this dull round, Danny did do the better work. So for that reason, I wouldn't call it a robbery, but I think it was a bad decision. I think Daniel Jacobs won, and I do believe that the fact that he is Danny Jacobs, the fact that he did go to London for this fight, and the fact that he didn't dominate when he was expected to dominate, all worked against him in the scores and the scorecards.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We're just getting started. We're the Boxing Bros. Yeah.